Optimizing your click-through rate and your conversion rate on Amazon, I believe, is literally the future. Everybody knows how to find keywords. Everybody's pretty good at Amazon pay-per-click now. People know how to ship stuff in, but the absolute elite brands, the people that are taking it to the next level, are creating world-class images, they're testing them, and they're finding out what actually converts. But it's easier said than done. Not everybody can do big photo shoots, have the perfect props and scenes, the perfect actors, all that stuff that goes into creating world-class photography. Enter the world of 3D. Now, it's pretty likely that you might have heard of 3D renderings before, but I'm telling you, you've not heard of 3D renderings like you're about to hear in this interview. This stuff blows my mind. I think it's gonna blow your mind. And when you understand the possibilities and how this stuff can be executed in your Amazon FBA business, I'd be shocked if you don't add it to your arsenal. So this is a good one. It's entertaining, tons of visuals, tons of examples, tons of ways that you can take your visual identity to the next level on Amazon. So let's go. I have found what I believe is literally the best 3D renderers, the best listing creators in the world in Spotlighted Studios. We've got their head of creative coming in for the second part of our series on building a brand on Amazon. Holy shit, this is a 3D render?
No more photographers, no more models, no more assets. It's definitely something that is night and day compared to traditional photography.
I couldn't do this with the best studio photography, the best set in the world.
You can build your scene tailor-made for your product.
I'd like you to send me the link to the video because I don't think it exists.
Coming up with visuals that other people are not coming up with.
I did not realize how far 3D renders have come. This is some of the lowest hanging fruit ROI that I've ever seen.
It's not just a simple alternative for traditional photography.
And this presentation should blow your mind. It should give you the most insights that you've ever seen on the possibilities of 3D rendering, how it's used to build world-class Amazon listings, and how it's used to create world-class brands. So Jose, I've seen this presentation. I know it's going to be incredible and blow some socks off. If this isn't the best presentation you've seen on improving images, improving conversion rate, and leveraging 3D, I'd like you to send me the link to the video because I don't think it exists. So with that, dude, I'll hand it over to you and we'll dive into this super, super exciting presentation that I think is going to really blow some minds.
Awesome. I'm so happy to share this with people, especially because people get excited so much when they see 3D renderings that don't look fake, like you were saying. So we're Spotlighted Studio, and what we do is 3D with amazing visuals done for e-commerce brands. So let's jump right into it and show you a little teaser of what we can do with 3D. Basically, what 3D allows you to do is standing out. This is what we did with Adam's brand. It's called Rideo, and it's a foldable bike. And we put a lot of thought into it. It turned out to be a really fun project. We were able to do visuals like this one and craft amazing visuals like the ones that you're going to be able to see right here, where we did listing images, we did Kickstarter banners, and so on. And we were able to build a 3D model that served so good. Another thing that 3D is going to allow you to do is doing variations effortlessly, and you can bring them to life like we did for Apollo right here. Once you have that 3D model built in, you can pretty much add items to your catalog and just build it over the years, and you don't even have to start a photo shoot over again. And we're going to see much more later on in this presentation. But also another thing that is really, really cool about 3D is doing complexity and making it simple, right? Like this lens right here, you can build a bunch of visuals that just going to explain all the engineering behind your product in a simple way that people can understand the concept of what your product and your brand is all about in 3 to 2 seconds. Another thing, branding is going to be supercharged by the power of 3D. You're going to be able to animate things and just do an overlook of what your product is supposed to do and what the benefits are. And people are just going to see the value and also the quality of it through the video as well. You can build the branding around it, and not only with the graphics, but also with the scenes that you create and you place your product on. It's going to be super customizable. Also going to break it down and see all the details and the possibilities that you can do and achieve with 3D as well. So there's this much more to it. There's specifically 6 things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today about 3D. First of all, countless applications for this. And there's also less hassle when going into production. There's a lot of quality and consistency among all the different things that you can do with this, whether it is social media, listing images, animations, whatever. And then standing out from the competition is a real pain when you're working with traditional photography. Sometimes you want to do something creative, but it's difficult. And then you got A/B testing your way into success, trying different things and not only saving yourself some money in the long run, but also coming up with visuals that other people are not coming up with. And then you got branding and emotional connection, which is super important. If you want to learn more about branding, I recommend you check out our previous video with Adam, where we talked about branding and how to build a powerful brand. Let's jump right into it. Let's walk you through the possibilities of 3D. And let's start out by showing you a couple of different brands that are utilizing 3D to the max today. One of them is IKEA. And they're basically building their whole catalog around 3D. And the reason for this is they have a lot of product. Their catalog is extensive. And also they can't really afford making a new photo shoot just to introduce a new piece of decoration for any type of style of home that they're introducing into the catalog, right? They build things in 3D and they cross-sell all those items that they have in their catalog once they have built all those 3D models. And you can see the visuals right here. They look super realistic and super convincing. And also they can curate the scenes depending on what they want to show about their products. And another brand, I just want to show you a good range of things that you can do with 3D. Another brand is Nike, and they're built visuals that have a lot of personality. You can see right here with the shoes, sometimes you think that you can't do too much with your product, but there's possibilities of building something amazing, something that people are going to look at it and stop and really understand what the product is about and tell them more about it, right? So these are two examples just to show you that are big brands utilizing the power of 3D today. And it's not just a simple alternative for traditional photography. There's real advantage to utilizing 3D today. So these are the 6 key advantages of 3D visuals. And we're going to kick it off by showing you how many applications you can build around your 3D model. So once you build that 3D model, it's pretty much an asset you can keep forever unless you change your product. So once you have the 3D model, you can build so many different things. Like, for example, listing images. You can A/B test main images. You can build other graphics around it. You're going to be able to come up with a different array of visuals that you can showcase in your listing, whether it is lifestyle picture, an assembly picture, you name it. You're going to be able to translate that into A+ content as well, where you're going to be building variation charts, for example, to show your catalog variations, and people are going to be able to click on it and just see the details about those products. And then you're going to be able to build also social media banners and everything around ads and ad creatives, or also that unboxing experience that is so important, right? The inlay papers, the manuals, everything can also be utilizing that 3D asset. And then finally, you're going to be able to build animations, whether it is a breakdown or how your product works, or what's the quality and the engineering behind making your product, or even simple animations like this one right here, where you can do an overview of your product in that branded scene that's going to be tailor-made for your brand, right? There's a lot of things that you can utilize this 3D asset for.
Yeah, so Jose, honestly, I think this is probably one of the most critical things, right? You look at the traditional creative development for most e-commerce Amazon brands for sure is, okay, I've got a new product I'm launching. I'm going to spend, call it $700 to $1,000 to get a photo shoot done. It might look amazing, but inevitably, if you find success with a product, one of the easy ways to scale is you add variations, right? And so guess what happens when you come out with color number 2? It's another $700 to $1,000 for a photo shoot. Let's say you want to throw in a video, or maybe you want to start testing ads. That's an additional shoot. That's maybe $1,000, $2,000. So while studio photography may be incrementally cheaper upfront, I think the thing that I absolutely love about this is when I do new variations from the same model and I'm just changing the color of the design, literally we can replicate that immediately because the models exist. A/B testing, which has become an incredible tool within Amazon, and I think is really the future of selling on Amazon, is improving click-through rate, improving conversion rate, optimizing your ad spend, etc. You need to test stuff, and you can't be doing another photo shoot, which might take time to book, people, talent. You might change photographers, the lighting may be different. So I think the versatility for me, honestly, it ultimately saves you money, and it lets you have so much versatility as you expand new images, you test new things, as you grow your catalog, and as you build your particular product category on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything's going to be based on data. You're going to see in this presentation also another example, real example of one of the brands that we were helping out with the A/B testing. We were able to run polls on PickFu based on the ideas that we thought are going to work. And then we saw some fail, and we saw ultimately the ones that actually were beating the competition by a lot. You're going to see it later on in the presentation. But yeah, adding variations is definitely one of the best advantages that you can have while building a 3D model. You're going to be able to see it here in the less hassle benefit, right? No more photographers, no more models, no more assets. You're going to be able to build lifestyle pictures that really express the look and feel of your brand. Like this one, for example, is a document organizer for moms. And then we placed it right here in the scene. It's a stock footage. And we look for photography that really matches the style of the brand. And then we add the product into the scene so you can not even notice that the product is made from 3D and this is a stock footage, right? We do it in a way that explains the context behind the product. For example, the usability of the product. You're going to be at the doctor's office and then you need your baby's document all in one place. The convenience of having that product, for example, you can express it without even putting copy into the listing image. So I think it's really interesting of the things that you can do. For example, this one right here too, like even the stroller is not real. It was made in 3D as well. And we just put the product hanging on the stroller, and there's just as a walk in the park for the mom, and then a fantastic day because she's got all that her baby needs in one place. So this is the kind of stuff that we also apply to Rideo. We look for stock footage that could express the happiness and the joy of having that first bike, and also putting the brand colors embedded into the picture. And this is made out of 3D. Is a stock footage that we got, and we photoshopped our 3D model with a specific pose so it could match the picture. So the next thing also is another 3D model that we built for Apollo. They sell scooters. So we wanted to showcase the fun and the happy moments of riding that scooter at the park, right?
Yeah, and Jose on this, so one of the partners in Rideo is world-class creative guy, right? He's just a branding expert, went to school for videography, worked with countless 8-9-figure physical products brands. And I remember when I first flipped over, and this was even earlier before this, just some of the early renderings and stuff. He was like, holy shit, this is a 3D render. He's like, I did not realize how far 3D renders have come. He's like, I couldn't do this with the best studio photography, the best set in the world. So not only us just casual Amazon, schmuck sellers notice this. I mean, literally people that are world-class in creative development are starting to catch on to how powerful this stuff is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun because we can chalk clients in that way. And I'm not bragging about the possibilities, but it's definitely something that is night and day compared to traditional photography. For doing something like this on a studio, you literally have to plan for it and then prepare, go out and buy the props, bring the bike over, hire the model. It's like so much work into it. And with 3D, you can just do it naturally. After you build that 3D model, you can customize it however you want, and you can build as many poses as you want, different lifestyle pictures. It's just in a different level, right, of commodity. So even if this one right here, where we were able to show a lifestyle picture built from multiple stock footage and then show like the excitement of having that skateboard, for example, this product, and then imagining yourself riding to a point where you're so famous that they take a picture of you and put it in the cover of the magazine, right? This type of stuff you can build with 3D and also with Photoshop. And also, I got a little challenge for the people out there. Try to guess what's the 3D built in this picture, right? Like the clear and obvious answer would be the foam pit where this kid is jumping onto. But actually, there's more 3D built in this picture. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. This is actually the process that we use for building lifestyle pictures with 3D. We go out there, we select the stock footage, we got the one that we like the most, and we plan accordingly to Photoshop the 3D models built into it. Like, for example, details like the little kid's hair being lit up by the window, we have to match that line and also the angle of the camera plus the 3D scene. So everything matches perfectly. And we go out there and we build the 3D scene that matches perfectly that angle. This is the one that we built with the product in the scene. And then you can see the full-blown render right here. And then what we do is Photoshop the results, right? We built that stock footage into the 3D set. And then you can see right here how even the legs are cut off a little bit just so you can't see that it's not a 3D model. Like, you can trick the brain into like completely not realizing that this is a 3D model. And then even if you want to change aspects of the stock footage, is highly customizable. Like, for example, this client asked me to make the kid more like a toddler, right? It was too tall for it to fit the product description of the target audience. And then we went ahead and did this. Magic. So it's
amazing.
It's really fun. So there's one right here too. Like if you want to make it a boy and this variation was made for boys, you can also change that as well. Like it's not because of we're using stock footage, you're limited to whatever you can find out there in those stock footage sites. We can also Photoshop it into a way that it fits your brand perfectly. Like you were actually casting the models and just hiring everybody to make the perfect scene, right? And then you can put the design on top of it and finally have your lifestyle picture right here.
Amazing.
No location booking logistics. This is another benefit of having 3D. You can build your scene tailor-made for your product. Everything that you want to have in your 3D scene is not going to be rented, or you don't have to scroll through multiple people that are going to, craft the perfect space for you in a studio, but you can build it in the computer, right? Everything that we built right here, you can see, like the one that I just showed you, it's built for this product specifically. And you can do this literally to a point where you can customize the material of the table, everything that is hanging on the walls, whatever it is, right? We did this with the document organizer as well. We put it right there. And then the assets, we select everything that goes into the scene. There's nothing that you have to go out there and buy and plan for. You can select everything on our computers and build a scene for you that is going to reflect 100% what your brand is all about, and the look and feel as well. You can select that the animals, the stuffed animals that are going to go into the baby scene, or even the furniture, the carpets, is highly customizable, even down to the point of selecting the materials, like I was saying, whether it is concrete, if it is hardwood, or ceramics, or even the clothes of the baby, if it is linen, if it is cotton, whatever it is, you can tailor made it to perfection. You can build as many scenes as you want, depending on what you're trying to showcase. If you have multiple variations and you want different rooms for those variations, you can do that as well. Quality and consistency. This is a big one, because usually what I see as a designer when I go out there and look for market research into other people's listings is that consistency is not very strong among their variations. When you take pictures with a photographer and just traditional photography, you tend to see the drops and the movement in the camera. They don't match the angles perfectly. And start off with the quality. We're going to see that in a little bit. With the quality, you can build in things that are just incredibly detailed. You can put as much detail as you want into pictures like this. For example, the document organizer, where you can see the texture in the picture. This is hard to achieve, especially for textures that don't specifically look good when doing a close-up. We can tweak them even in post-production after the 3D render is done to achieve not only the tone that is correct for your variation, but also the amount of texture that you want in the picture, the amount of detail. Everything is highly customizable. Like you can see right here, this wheel of this skateboard. We built a water pump for this amazing client that we have, the owner of Workstein. Just put so much detail into it, the water being shoot out from the pump and just the amazing plastic texture that you can feel like you can almost touch, right? And also this brand right here that is Bug Trap, we can build scenery where you can take close-up shots and just lifestyle pictures where you combine the 3D with the stock footage like we saw in the other example. And also it's really good for things that are highly reflective, like this one right here. You can build so much detail and so much accuracy to the colors, and also control whatever is being reflected in the picture. You can see two examples right here. And even when you don't have highly reflective materials, you can have wooden textures, for example, in a piece of glass, and then you can see the glass in the gap being reflected, stuck there in the middle of the wood, right? And right here with the other example of the white wood. It's just so rich in detail. And I think this helps so much people understand how good your product is in terms of quality, because people can actually almost feel the textures in the picture. And that's one of the things that you have to do and strive for when doing a listing design, especially for e-commerce, because people can't really hold the product with their hands, but you can almost help them feel the product through the screen. This is another example of a scooter that we made. And basically what we do to achieve this amount of detail is taking that 3D model that we built, and through a process of 6 steps that you're going to see in a second, we build shots and renders that look highly realistic. So what we do with the process is we go out there and take pictures of your product, specific pictures with measurements. Then we build the 3D model around those pictures. Then we do a UV mapping, which is telling the texture this is where you're going to reflect the lighting. and whatnot. And then we build the textures around that mapping that we did. Then we build the lighting, and then we do the post-production where we add all the color corrections, the detail, contrast, vibrancy of the picture, and so on. And then you're being able to come up with shots like this one where we just simply make something out of nothing, just from pictures. And then we get to build a scene and come together, put everything together into an image that looks like this. It's just something that makes you question, the digital realm from the real life realm, right? Also, the convenience of having a 3D model that can be shot literally from any angle with the same lighting, same color correction, same consistency in terms of sizing. Everything is possible with the 3D model, and also images that are a little bit more difficult to take. If you have multiple variations and you want to showcase something that is very specific about your product, you can replicate that same angle with the same lighting, same color correction, literally across all your different variations. Another big key feature of 3D is that you can expand your catalog however you want. Whether you built your 3D model today and you're expanding it a year from now, you're going to be able, like we did with this brand, just build your whole asset catalog throughout the years, right? It's always it's something that is going to last for a lifetime, and you can build around it, right? Like we did with this brand, Girobug. They sell different things for bug control, like sprayers, bug traps, and so on. And we just built the 3D model and then made so many listing images. I believe they had 20 plus different products, and we just kept on adding to that listing image catalog. And then we got things like, for example, the scooter, where we have so many colors, and then this can represent a problem for doing traditional photography, but not for 3D, because you can take that model and, like I said, take so many pictures and replicate it throughout all different variations. Now, standing out and being distinct from other sellers. This is a big feature too. This helps seller not only increase their click-through rate, like the one that I just mentioned with Workstein, this water pump, craft a visual that's so much different from the other listings out there. But not only that, you can also show features in a very specific way. Like if the water pump is very strong when sucking in the water inside the pump, you can literally cut a hole in the water pump, and you can see the water being revolved inside it, right? And then showcase the capacity of the water pump. You can do things like, for example, with the bug trap, you can show the bugs going into the trap and being stuck in there, and the scent of the pheromones being a lure for the insects. You can showcase features in a very creative way, things that you can't really do with traditional photography, at least not in a simple way. So you can showcase comparison shots where you showcase how bad the competitor's product is compared to yours, right? How powerful it is. And then showcase all the different angles from your different variations, and then being very creative with it. For example, with the scooter, if you want to showcase how much of a weight can it hold, then you put some plates on it, and then you show that it's indestructible too by placing it in a bunch of concrete rubble where you can see, okay, it fell from a building 10 stories high, and then it made it through, and it has no scratch on it, right? Like you can communicate a lot of stuff with 2 to 3 seconds of showing a feature in a very creative way. Like this one, for example, baby document binder, where you can showcase that it's for moms, for dads, and then it's also looking good on the stroller. Or you can showcase how many things you can fit into it. There's a lot of things that you can do with it, and you can be highly creative. And also complexity. Complexity is a big thing, especially if you have a highly engineered product where it's got many parts. Like, for example, the scooter, I just built some example of the engineering that goes behind making the perfect truck, making a skateboard that goes super fast, right? And then, like I said, you can build the same shots across all variations that you might have. And then you can add a lot of personality to it as well. Like we did for the Sky Racer scooter for Apollo as well. We selected a specific camera lens that shows this kind of funky angle to the picture, and then you can see the fun being transmitted through like the feeling of the picture. You can see that this is different. If you go to the regular listings out there, it's just like an angle shot of the scooter, but then they don't build a lot around it. You can see in the central shot in the middle, the LEDs being displayed like in a very specific way. You can add a lot of personality like we did for this one. For example, you don't have to build a lot of graphic design around it, but just by placing it in a scene that is branded, you're going to be able to showcase so much personality to it. This solar panels, they wanted to look and feel like Tesla, something that is sophisticated, elegant, modern. And also they wanted to showcase that their products were made of so much quality, right? And you can see it right here, whether you display the solar panels or the pieces that you have to build into your porch to hang it on it, whatever it is, and the details of the pieces that go behind making a great solar panel as well. The battery, whatever it is. And also you can build personality into the scene in a way that you show the engineering behind it without even mentioning it. For example, this brand, they spent a lot of money and time building their formula. So they wanted to showcase their products in a way that they could talk and suggest that they were made in the lab. It's not a generic formula, but it's something that is made out of quality ingredients. It's just a formula that's patent, right? That there's a patent around the formula. Is something that is customized for the brand. And here, the key thing is that you can build that kind of stuff and then also preserve the brand identity. You can fit the aesthetic of a skincare brand without going too much into, the engineering side of the product. A/B testing. This is a big one because sellers take so much advantage compared to other ones when they test and they actually choose their designs based on data. You can test different main images and you can improve your click-through rate by actually running polls and telling people, okay, which one do you prefer? And you can base that on certain demographics, whether they're Amazon Prime shoppers or whatever it is, right? If you're familiarized with polls, and you can be creative with that, showcase the packaging, so showcase it in different positions and different arrangement and test out what's the most appealing picture that you can get out of your product. Different poses, different packaging options, different arrangement, you can test it all. And this is the advantage of 3D. You don't have to hire the photographer to build another photo studio shoot and then take pictures again of your product with different assets and different ideas. You don't have to do that. You already have the 3D model built in, and then we can take that 3D model and just sketch out a new idea and then run the poll on it. And this is what we did with this brand called Mommy and Me. They were testing out different main images for their listing on Amazon. And we actually built 3 images on our packages. We built one that is going to serve you as a backup in case one of the other 2 that are going to be pushing the terms of service gets suppressed. So you get something to fall back on, and then we can help you out build a different one. But usually it's very, very aggressive in terms of conversion. And then you can combine different things and different ideas to test out what works best. And even to the level of production, right? If you're not sure about the color of your variation or the design that you're going to put into your product, you can test it out. In this case, we designed a cover for this baby mattress and then we ran polls on it, and people actually told us what they preferred. In this case, we tested out the main image and we ended up beating the competition by 61 votes against 17 and 22. So there's a big difference. It took probably around 2 to 3 variations until we got to this point, but that's the advantage. We didn't have to schedule 3 different shoots, but we were able to come up with the main images after we built the 3D model and just run the different variants of those main images. And the last key feature of 3D is branding and emotional connection. You can craft a scene that can tell so much about your product. For example, this water pump. We want to appeal to that dad, that's 40-year-old dad, 50-year-old dad that is working on his shop at home and it's got the pipes just clogged, and then he wants to have that tool always available for him. And then you not only appeal to the dad by building a scene that he can say, okay, it's branded, he can see the colors, the blue from the brand, and then see a tool rack that he can even get inspired to buy later on to collect his tools, but also to the mom that is behind that dad is so happy about the pipes being clean now and running again. It's just things that you can build is highly customizable and tailored to your target audience. And you can do it even to the point of showcasing simple things like this one, showcasing that your brand cares, and then putting a thank you note next to the product and then put it in the kitchen that people can relate to it, not in a fancy scene or something highly overproduced, but something that can relate to that people that are clicking purchase out there. in the e-commerce store. You can customize it even to the point that it reflects the ingredients on your variation. For example, these sauna scent bottles where you can just pour in the sauna and just smell the wood coming out of the, the steam in the sauna, or you can even customize it to reflect the mint, the freshness of the mint by changing the background and put something more snowy. And also the hassle of going and traveling to one of these locations, for example, to take a photo shoot is so much work and money to make. In 3D, you can also make it look like a sunset and just reflect the lavender scent on the product and that relaxation time on it. It's just something that is highly customizable, even to the point where you can come up with different scenes for all your different variations, whether it is a wood scene or it is a snowy scene or it is a sunset scene, whatever it is, you can customize it even to that point. Then you got things like, okay, if we got the baby mattress and we want to showcase that the babies are going to be relaxed, they're going to be safe when sleeping on that baby mattress, how can we showcase that? Well, we built in some clouds and the moon, and then we put some calming colors in the background, and then we put it all in a scene together, alongside with some graphics like the logo and the typography. And then we end up supporting it also with lifestyle pictures like this one, where you can see the mom curling up with the baby and being safe and happy that the baby is sleeping well. And also showcase things like, okay, we care about the things that you're afraid of. For example, the baby falling in one of the gaps because the mattress is not the right size. We can showcase details about us tackling those specific problems in a way that looked very, very appealing. And then again, supporting it with the lifestyle picture, showing the baby and all the gaps being filled on the crib. It's just something that can help so much people understand what your brand is all about. It's not only about selling, but showing the customer you care about those pain points that they're having. And showing also perspectives, the mom and also the branded scene. You can see the clouds, the little stars coming down, and then you can see the baby's POV too, looking at the mom with love and all that. And also things like building a scene that is so relaxing. For example, this SUP, we want to showcase the capabilities of it. It's not only going out there for an adventure, but also for having a good yoga session and where you can relax. And then we built a scene around it that I was a calm scene, no waves, and then a clear sky and a little bit of vegetation on the back. So you can showcase the nature and then get results like this one, right? So in order to take this shot with traditional photography, you have to go to the location, book the model, get the SUP there. It's just a lot of hassle. But with 3D, you can build things like this. And again, this is a combination of 3D and stock footage. So it's highly, highly customizable. In conclusion, 3D is very powerful. There's a lot that you can do with it. These are only 6 key features that you can take advantage of when using 3D. And we have been able to take advantage of them in multiple projects and multiple different products that you can see out there. Different things from bug traps to a foldable bike, whatever, you name it, right? We were able to bring a lot of life into Adam's brand, and we were happy to get results like this one and take full advantage. And hopefully in the future, we can build some more visuals out of that 3D model. We're happy to bring life into brands with 3D, and we're just going to keep doing that as long as we can.
Well, Jose, honestly, this stuff is frankly awe-inspiring. For folks that have just seen the power of 3D for the first time, it really is mind-boggling what's possible. And really how I think about this, honestly, is going back to basics of data and kind of getting the most impact for your investment. Let's say that you improve click-through rate 30%. That's like getting 30% more traffic without having to spend another dollar. You're not having to spend it on ads. You're not having to rank on more keywords. And then once they're actually on your listing, let's imagine that you go from a, say, 18% conversion rate to a 22% conversion rate. On every single click that comes through, you're converting 20% more of them. And so honestly, the ROI and payback on this stuff is hands down one of the best things I think you can do in this era of Amazon. It's better than optimizing pay-per-click. It's better than trying to figure out lower price with your factory. It's better than trying to figure out lower shipping costs, all the stuff that's tough and really a slugfest. This is some of the lowest hanging fruit ROI that I've ever seen. And again, you guys are world-class. You're crazy busy. But what I love about this is I told you, hey man, just come in here and drop value bombs and share what you guys do and what's possible with this stuff. You guys have opened up a handful of slots and you book up fast because you guys have to kind of book your calendars out. But you've saved some spots for the Heist audience, which I truly appreciate. I've got a link down below. I don't get paid for this stuff. I just love what these guys do. And I think that it can fundamentally improve your products on Amazon. So if you're interested in finding out more more and working with literally some of the best in the business, Jose and the Spotlighted Studio crew, click that link down below. We're also going to have a follow-up video on the series. So if you're liking where this is going, if you want to build a future-proof brand on Amazon, click subscribe. We're going to drop another video here before the end of the year. But Jose, man, I'm indebted to you for putting this together. It's incredible, awe-inspiring. Showing what's possible with 3D is really eye-opening, and I think it's really going to change a lot of sellers' lives in 2024 and beyond. So thanks for opening up the playbook, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Adam. And we're happy to bring as much value as we can and also shock people with the possibilities of 3D. Like I said, there's a lot of things out there that people don't know about, especially about 3D, the quality, consistency, advantages. So I'm happy to show it to them.
Love it, dude. Thanks for coming on, man.